Me, 37, marketing manager at pharmaceutical company in Minneapolis. Salary $98,000. Manage team of 15 marketing specialists and coordinators. Company is called Northstar Pharmaceuticals. We market prescription medications. Mid-size pharma company, 850 employees, focus on diabetes and cardiovascular drugs. Been here for 5 years, started as marketing specialist, worked up to manager. Got promoted to manager 18 months ago, youngest marketing manager in company. Team handles campaigns, physician outreach, conference materials, digital marketing. It's demanding work, tight deadlines, high pressure, FDA regulations everywhere. When I took over the team, demographics were typical for pharma marketing. 15 people total, 12 men, 3 women, all ages 26 to 48, mix of experience levels. The gender imbalance bothered me immediately. 80% male in marketing is ridiculous. Marketing should be diverse, creative, representative of patient populations. But more than the numbers, the culture bothered me even more. Men dominated meetings, talked over the women, dismissed their ideas. Classic bro culture stuff, inside jokes, sports references, masculine energy. The 3 women on my team, Sarah, Monica, and Jennifer, felt marginalized. They'd mention ideas in meetings that got ignored by the men. Then a guy would say the same thing 10 minutes later, and everyone would praise it. I experienced this my whole career, being overlooked, being interrupted. Now I'm in position to fix it, to create the environment I wish I'd had. First 3 months as manager, I observe, document, build my strategy. Notice patterns of male behavior that need addressing. They're louder in meetings, they're more confident, they take up more space. Not necessarily because they're better, just because they're socialized that way. Classic manifestation of male privilege in professional settings. Month 4, I start implementing changes, small at first, testing boundaries. New meeting rule. Women speak first on every topic before men can contribute. Get immediate pushback. Why does gender matter for speaking order? Because women's voices have been historically suppressed. We're correcting that. Guys are annoyed, but comply. Meetings become stilted and awkward. Women speak first, but men clearly aren't listening, waiting for their turn. Month 5, I escalate the interventions. Need something more impactful. Start team meetings with privilege acknowledgement exercise. Everyone goes around and shares one way their privilege has benefited them. First time I introduce it, confusion and resistance. What do you mean by privilege? One of the guys, Mark, asks. Unearned advantages you have based on identity categories like race, gender, class. Can you give an example? Like being a white man in America, you don't face discrimination that others face. Mark looks uncomfortable. So do the other men. Good. Discomfort means growth. We go around the circle. Women share about class privilege, education privilege. Monica talks about having college-educated parents. Jennifer mentions being able-bodied. Men are hesitant, stumbling through it, clearly don't want to do this. One guy, David, says, I guess being tall helps in job interviews. That's not what I'm looking for, but it's a start. What about being a man, David? How has that benefited you in your career? I don't know. I've worked hard for everything I have. But you've worked hard without facing gender discrimination. That's privilege. He's quiet, doesn't argue. Meeting continues awkwardly. Month 6, I make privilege acknowledgement mandatory at every Monday team meeting. Every single person must share how their privilege benefited them that week. The women engage thoughtfully, talk about privilege they have. Sarah talks about being white. Monica discusses being straight. Jennifer mentions being thin. They understand the assignment. They're doing the work. The men resist, give surface-level answers, clearly uncomfortable. I had an easy commute because I can afford a car. That's economic privilege. I got help from a colleague because people like me. That's vague, not specific. I push them, be specific about gender privilege, about being men. How did being male specifically benefit you this week? The resistance hardens. I can see it in their faces, their body language. One guy, James, finally says, I don't think I benefited from being a man this week. That's because privilege is invisible to those who have it. That's the point. Or maybe I just did my work and gender wasn't a factor. Gender is always a factor. Your inability to see it proves you have privilege. Month 7. I introduce mandatory apologies as part of privilege acknowledgement. Not just recognizing privilege, but apologizing for having benefited from it. I acknowledge that as a white man, I've benefited from unearned advantages. And I apologize to those who haven't had these advantages and have faced discrimination. First time I require apologies, the room goes silent. Mark speaks up. Are you serious? We have to apologize for being born male. You're apologizing for benefiting from systems of oppression, not for being born. This is insane. I'm not apologizing for my gender. Then you're not taking team equity seriously, and that's a performance issue. The threat hangs there, comply, or face consequences. Mark looks around at other men, sees they're equally uncomfortable, but he apologizes through gritted teeth, formulaic and insincere. I apologize for benefiting from male privilege in the workplace. One by one, the men go around, forced apologies, none sound genuine. Women are watching this. Sarah looks uncomfortable. Jennifer is avoiding eye contact. Monica is the only one who seems satisfied, nodding along. Month 8. Apologies become daily ritual. Every morning at 9 a.m. team stand-up. We have 15-minute stand-up meeting each morning to discuss daily priorities. Now, first 10 minutes are mandatory privilege apologies from the men. 12 men, each giving quick apology for their male privilege. It's like a confessional, like they're in some kind of struggle session. The apologies become rote, mechanical, completely meaningless. I apologize for male privilege, repeated 12 times every morning. Some guys start adding sarcasm. I apologize for my terrible male privilege. I call that out. Sarcasm shows you're not taking this seriously. This is a hostile work environment. One guy, Robert, says quietly. No, hostile environment is what women have faced for decades. This is accountability. Month 9, I add another layer, privilege action plans. After apologizing, each man must commit to one action that day to check their privilege. Could be deferring to women in meetings, amplifying women's ideas, stepping back. They have to report back at end of day on whether they completed their action. This is on top of their actual work, marketing campaigns, deadlines, deliverables. Now, they're spending 30 minutes daily on privilege, exercises, and reporting. Productivity is declining. Campaigns are behind schedule. Clients are complaining. But I see this as necessary short-term sacrifice for long-term culture change. Month 10, the breaking point starts. I don't see it coming. The men are quiet in meetings, minimally participative, doing exactly what's required. They show up at 9 a.m. for apologies, do their work, leave at 5 p.m. exactly. No extra effort, no creative ideas, no enthusiasm, just compliance. In contrast, they used to stay late, brainstorm spontaneously, go above and beyond. Now it's like they're automatons doing the minimum, emotionally checked out. I mention this in one-on-ones. I'm noticing decreased engagement. Are you surprised? Mark says in his one-on-one, you've made it clear we're the problem. Not you personally, the systems that privilege you. Every day you make us apologize for being men. How are we supposed to feel engaged? Discomfort is part of growth. You need to sit with these feelings. He just looks at me, says nothing, leaves the meeting. Month 11, I notice the men are having more lunch meetings together. Without me, without the women, just the 12 men going to lunch as a group. They never did this before. It's concerning, feels like they're organizing. I mentioned it in team meeting. I've noticed some exclusive lunch groups forming. We're allowed to have lunch together, David says, not even trying to hide it. Yes, but it creates in-groups and out-groups. That's problematic. Is it problematic when you have lunch with just the women on the team? Wait, they notice that? I do occasionally have lunches with Sarah, Monica, Jennifer. That's different. We're creating safe space for women in male-dominated environment. So you're allowed to exclude us, but we're not allowed to have lunch together. That's a false equivalence, and you know it. The men exchange glances, say nothing more, but something shifts. Month 12, 1 year of me implementing these policies, anniversary. I'm reflecting on progress. Culture has changed. Men are more aware. They acknowledge privilege daily. They defer to women. They've been educated. But something feels off. The team dynamics are terrible. Morale is low. Projects are behind. Creativity is gone. People seem miserable. Even the women seem unhappy. Sarah has been quiet lately. In my one-on-one with her, I ask if she's okay. Honestly, the team culture has become really uncomfortable. What do you mean? We've implemented strong equity practices. The daily apologies feel degrading, not just for the men, but to watch. It makes me uncomfortable seeing them forced to apologize every day. This surprises me. She's a woman. She should appreciate this. They need to understand their privilege. Apologies are part of that. But it's performative. They don't mean it. It's just creating resentment. That's their work to do, dealing with discomfort of confronting privilege. She drops it, but I can tell she disagrees. Even women aren't fully on board. Month 13, Friday morning, routine starts like every day. 9 a.m., stand-up meeting. Time for daily privilege apologies. All 15 team members present, I start the meeting. Okay, let's begin with privilege acknowledgments. Who wants to start? Usually someone jumps in to get it over with. Today's silence. Everyone is looking at Mark. He's sitting there calmly, arms crossed. Mark, would you like to start us off? He looks at me directly, no emotion. No, I wouldn't. Wait, what? He's refusing? In front of whole team? This is required part of our team practice. Please share your acknowledgement. I'm not doing it anymore. Heart starts racing. This is direct insubordination, public challenge. Mark, this isn't optional. It's part of our team culture and expectations. Then I quit. He stands up, walks out of the conference room, doesn't look back. Everyone is frozen, silent, shocked. What just happened? Okay, well, Mark has made his choice. Let's continue. Who's next? David stands up. I quit too. He walks out, follows Mark. Then James stands up. I'm done with this. I quit. Then Robert, then Tom, then Chris, one by one like dominoes. All 12 men stand up, say I quit, or just walk out silently. In less than 3 minutes, entire male portion of team has resigned. Left in the room, me, Sarah, Monica, Jennifer, and empty chairs. The 4 of us just sitting there, stunned. What the fuck just happened? Did that really just happen? Jennifer says quietly. Yes, it did. All 12 men quit simultaneously, clearly coordinated. They planned this, those lunch meetings they were organizing. Spent month 13 planning mass resignation. Timed it perfectly. All on the same day, all at once. Maximum impact, maximum disruption. Immediately go to HR, explain what happened. They're shocked. Your entire male team quit at the same time. Yes, they've been resistant to our equity initiatives. What equity initiatives? Walk me through what you've been doing. Explain the privilege acknowledgments, the daily apologies, the action plans. HR director's face changes as I'm talking. She looks concerned. You've been making employees apologize for their gender every day. Not for their gender, for their privilege. There's a difference. Did you consult with HR before implementing these practices? They were team culture initiatives. I have discretion over my team. Not over practices that could be considered hostile work environment. Wait, hostile environment? They're men. They can't claim that. The men were the ones creating hostile environment through their behavior. Did you document specific incidents of harassment or discrimination? It was systemic patterns, microaggressions, male dominance. Did you document it? Write it up, give them opportunity to correct. No, I didn't. I just observed and implemented corrections. HR director calls emergency meeting with my boss, VP of marketing. Have to explain the whole situation, the year of policies, the mass resignation. VP is furious. You implemented mandatory apologies based on gender. Without consulting HR, without documenting performance issues. And now we've lost 12 employees in one day, 80% of your team. They were resistant to change, unable to examine their privilege. They were being forced to apologize for their identity every single day. Do you understand how that looks, how that could be perceived? Still not getting it. Still think I was right, they were wrong. They quit because they couldn't handle accountability. They quit because you created an intolerable work environment. Over the next 3 days, all 12 men are contacted by HR for exit interviews. They've lawyered up. All 12 have retained same employment attorney. They're organized. They're serious. This is coordinated legal action. Their attorney sends letter to company. It's damning. 12 employees subjected to daily forced apologies based on gender. Hostile work environment based on sex. Violation of Title VII. Constructive discharge. Forced to resign due to intolerable conditions. They have evidence, recordings from team meetings on their phones. Video of me saying apologize for male privilege dozens of times. Slack messages where I called male privilege the problem we're solving. Email I sent saying men need to sit with discomfort of their advantages. Everything documented, everything recorded, everything admissible. Company legal team reviews everything. Their assessment is brutal. This is clear-cut hostile work environment based on sex. Forced daily apologies based on gender identity is discriminatory. Company liability is significant. Settlement is likely in millions. 1 week after mass resignation, I'm called to meeting with VP and HR. We're terminating your employment effective immediately. This is retaliation for implementing equity practices. This is consequence of creating hostile work environment and exposing company to lawsuit. I was trying to address male privilege and toxic masculinity by discriminating against employees based on their gender. That's illegal regardless of which gender is targeted. Security escorts me out that afternoon. Cardboard box. Public walk of shame. All 4 remaining team members watch me leave. Sarah is crying. Monica looks vindicated. Jennifer looks relieved. Dynamics were broken. 2 weeks later, company settles with all 12 men for undisclosed amount. Industry rumors say it's $2.4 million total, $200,000 per person. Company also issues public apology. Employment practices were inappropriate. My name isn't mentioned, but everyone knows. Word spreads fast. Start applying for marketing manager positions. No responses. Apply for marketing specialist roles. Nothing. Former colleagues won't return calls. References are silent. Finally get interview at small agency. They've heard about situation. Can you explain what happened at North Star? Try to frame it positively. Implemented equity initiatives that faced resistance. We heard you made male employees apologize for their gender daily. It was privilege acknowledgement, part of DEI framework. That resulted in mass resignation and lawsuit. Correct. The lawsuit was settled. Both parties moved on. But would you implement similar practices here? Long pause. Don't know how to answer without condemning myself. I would approach team culture more collaboratively. Don't get the job. Don't get any marketing job. 6 months unemployed. Savings depleting. Minneapolis rent is brutal. Take job as social media coordinator at nonprofit. $48,000. From $98,000 manager to $48,000 coordinator, massive step down. From managing team of 15 to managing Instagram account for food bank. It's humbling work, but it's honest and I need the income. 1 year after the mass resignation, run into Mark at coffee shop. He sees me, I see him, awkward moment of eye contact. He approaches, I expect anger, confrontation, legal talk. Hey, how are you doing? I'm okay. Working in a nonprofit now. Social media stuff. He nods. I heard. I'm at a different pharma company. Still in marketing. That's good. Glad you landed somewhere. Silence for a moment. Then he says something unexpected. Look, I didn't want to destroy your career. We just couldn't keep apologizing for being men every single day. He's being sincere, not gloating, just explaining. I thought I was addressing real problems with male privilege. Maybe you were, but making us apologize daily wasn't the answer. It just made us feel like we were being punished for our gender. He's right. I can hear it now. Could never hear it then. We all got together and decided we'd rather quit than continue. Spent a month planning it, talking to lawyers, making sure we had evidence. The day we walked out was coordinated. Everyone knew the plan. They organized for a month. I had no idea, was completely blindsided. I'm sorry it came to that, I say, and mean it. I'm sorry you felt that was necessary approach, he replies. Maybe if you just treated us like individuals instead of representatives of privilege. Maybe if you'd addressed actual behaviors instead of forcing confessions. We would have worked with you. We weren't opposed to diversity. We were opposed to being dehumanized every single day. He leaves, goes to meet his colleagues, probably former teammates. I sit with my coffee, thinking about what he said, about being treated as individuals versus representatives, about addressing behaviors versus forcing confessions. Every day for a year, I made them apologize for being born male. Not for specific actions, not for actual behaviors, just for existing. Called it accountability, called it growth, called it necessary. Really, it was just humiliation, power trip, ideological enforcement. 2 years later, I'm 39, still at the nonprofit making $52,000. Small raises, but nowhere near marketing manager level. LinkedIn shows my old team members thriving at other companies. Mark is senior marketing manager at another pharma company. David is director of marketing at medical device firm. All 12 men landed on their feet, found better opportunities. The 3 women from my old team also moved on. Sarah is at a different company, team lead position, seems happy. Monica stayed at Northstar briefly, then left, marketing manager elsewhere. Jennifer went to smaller company, coordinator role, lower stress. Northstar rebuilt the marketing team, hired new manager, fresh start. They have gender balance team now, mix of men and women. But they treat people as individuals, no forced apologies, no struggle sessions. Just normal professional environment where everyone is respected. And they're more productive, more creative, better outcomes than my team ever was under my equity initiatives. 3 years later, I'm 40, career has plateaued at nonprofit. Never going back to corporate marketing, name is too associated with incident. Manager who made men apologize daily is my Google search result. That's my legacy. That's what I'm known for in industry. Not for any successful campaigns or team development. Just for the year, I forced 12 men to apologize for their gender until they all quit on the same day and sued the company. Think about that morning, watching them stand up one by one. Mark first, then David, then all the others in succession. Like dominoes falling, like coordinated protest, like escape. Because that's what it was, escape from intolerable situation. Situation I created, maintained, enforced for a year. While convincing myself I was doing important equity work. Really just abusing power, punishing people for their identity. Same thing I accused them of doing, just with different target. Now I'm here, 40, making $52,000, career destroyed. While all 12 men are thriving at better companies. With better managers, better culture, better futures. They escaped my team and found success. I stayed with my ideology and found failure. That's the trade-off. That's the lesson. You can be righteous or you can be effective. You can enforce confessions or you can build culture. You can demand apologies or you can earn respect. I chose the first option every time, called it progress. While my team died slowly, person by person, until the day they all left at once, and left me sitting there with empty chairs, and the realization too late that I'd been the problem all along. Not their privilege, not their resistance, not their maleness. Just me, my policies, my certainty, my cruelty, dressed in the language of equity, but amounting to nothing but abuse. That's what I live with now, at 40, at $52,000. Former manager who forced confessions. Until everyone confessed by walking out and never coming back.